Flosstube. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. I go by the Chinook Crafter here on YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky now, and Storygraph. Those are all my social medias. I use that. And this is a channel where I mostly talk about cross stitching and sometimes books and sometimes other crafts. I'm delayed on filming. I've been going through it. I don't know if you can hear in my voice that I am sick. Well, I was sick. It has unfortunately triggered my asthma, so I've just been tearing myself, and my lungs have been trying to tear themselves free of my body. And I put off filming and I put off filming, but I eventually got to a point where I was like, well, you know what? At this point, you're never going to do it. So just go with a raspy voice, talk about what you've done, and then you can move on and on to the next one. So, I have last filmed at the end and in January, and not much has gone on. It's been fairly busy for my family and I. My youngest daughter, she turned 2, so I was away for a week at my parents' house because the same week we got our windows replaced from the hailstorm. So the way the windows are being replaced, she was turning 2, and my sister and her partner were visiting. So I just went and stayed with my parents for a week, which is both helpful and less helpful because I have way more adult help, but I do less stitching because there's more stuff to get into at their house. So there was that. It was the Lunar New Year, so we had that celebrations and such going on. And then, like I mentioned, I have been sick and going through it. So I'm going to share what I have. First off is my work project. This is from the Spellbound Stitches Volume 3 bookmark books. This is for Haunted Frames Stitchery. It's Secrets Beyond the Gate, I believe. And I just kind of work on this on some of my breaks at work, so it's not too far, but it's nice because it's like 5 colors I think, but I've just been doing the 310, and I'm kind of thinking I might, once I'm done the black, dye it again. Well, it's not dyed, it was just some scrap I ate up, and I want to maybe like a little bit more tea stained. I don't know. I might experiment with that. I'm not pleased with it, but I'm not going to restart it on a different piece of fabric. I might just experiment with that because who does that hurt? I'm also reading the book that goes with it, which is The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. It's an interesting book. I had to return it to the library. I'm only like 67%. It's because it's coming back to me soon. It's one of those books where there's like multiple timelines. Like it's 2 characters, but there's her grandmother and like the main character, like they're both main characters. There's different timelines because there's a mystery. So it's like the present day, and then this time, when she did this trip, like three characters, yeah, 3 characters, and so it's just kind of like because they're all connected and there's different timelines. So you kind of, if you're following the timelines together, you kind of it unfolds as the timelines go because you're like, oh, wait a second, something happened in the 1970s, and oh look, we're having a 1970s chapters. Okay, hello Orfeo, welcome back, Matt. Okay. So that's the one I've been working on at work. At home, please get off the project. Oh my god, you're too heavy. Okay, I don't want that either. Okay, I've been working on one of my round robins, and it is almost done. I'm just gonna make sure I'm holding it oriented right. So this is 3 Cats Stitchings Errands, and it is the Bee's Knees from Ink Circles. It's on this beautiful, I think it's a hand dyed by Rolanda one, so it's an 18 count hand dyed by Rolanda, and I did this with Melissa Sheba Designs and Joe of Cross Stitch Joe as well. And I'm just gonna stand up. I just have that little corner left. And the bees. I was kind of saving the bees for last because I thought that'd be fun. I've been working on it. I've amazingly so far I have not made any counting errors, which I usually do on an Ink Circles. My concern is I have this much floss left. And I think this should be enough. I think I'm going to be holding it very tight. It's just that last little motif is a very large flourish, and this is 2/1 on 18 count. So I've got and I'm like, I think I'm going to get there, but I'm pretty skimpy with my floss usually. I go very short with my tails and such, but I'm getting stressed on it, which is why it's been hard to work on because I'm stressed. And I've told Aaron, I was like, I think I have enough, but it's down to the wire. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I had a lot of mail. I'm not even gonna show all the mail I got because I've been, all my orders from November on kind of all showed up with the Canada Post strike being over. So actually I'll show some fun stuff first. This is I ordered some Valdani from one of the local needle workshops. I found with Valdani, I don't like their colors, like the cards on, because I never know what I have. Here, let me see if that shows those very well. I got Black Knight, Aged Black, and Black Sea. So I wanted to use one of them for Stitch for Pride 2024 Edward Gorey, and I was wanting to like something that would look kind of like the sketchy, like imitate the sketchiness of like, you know, the pencil drawings. So I was looking at these, and one of them is definitely too blue, and the other one's a little bit too variegated, but I think I have it. I say that like I'm picking floss. Stitch for Pride 2024, I just picked floss, and I barely started in January. Well, but to be fair to myself with that, I also started that, I bought it in June, so I was already starting off behind, so I wasn't too stressed about it. I did get my Stitch for Pride 2025 official floss. It's a very happy pastel rainbow. I love it. It's very cute. My fabric is with Natea, so I will be getting that in May. So I'll probably start it at Stitch North. You know, so I'm following and reading, like doing the learning and just following and having ideas, because like, you know, you look at the names and it's like, okay, like some of them I'm like, oh, I know exactly what historical period that is, but do I know anyone? Because like I said, like doing the learning, and so it's interesting because like I was not familiar with the the Januaries, but with the Pharaoh from February, I was very familiar with, and I was talking with some other people that have been doing the Stitch for Pride 2025, and it's interesting how interpretations and definitions can change, because I was introduced to this pharaoh as like, oh, look at this strong female leader, like she did, you know, like this to take power, you know, and so her gender was not ever questioned that way. It was just like, yeah, she took on the male role to like take power, right? And I was like, and as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, cool, right? Because like, you see that too again and again, like, you know, Joan of Arc, Queen Elizabeth I, and then such. But then as an adult, you know, you're doing more reading and there's more nuance, like, and especially because you're, you know, it's like a 3,000-year-old damaged archaeological record, so it's like there's a lot more room for interpretation and nuance, and so it's interesting to revisit that as an adult and question what I thought I knew. As I mentioned, my sister was visiting and she got me a Christmas gift, and I laughed really hard when I opened it, because she got me all these. The ones already fraying, the light effects. And so she does a lot of crafts, and so she just thought these are pretty and shiny. She does not know the whole light effects, and I was starting laughing because to me it would be a funny gift if she knew like how, and like I will use them. It was just funny because it was like, okay, like, do you hate me? And then she also got me this. It's Twinkle. It's a very lightweight wool. Sorry, like a cone. And at first I was like trying to think like, okay, can I find like a big piece to make it? And I'm like, you know, maybe I'll just like do snowflakes with it, because it's like it's silver, but the sparkles are kind of confetti, like pink and purple and blue. I don't know, did that really sparkles? Not really. So I'm interested to work with that, because I'm not going to crochet or knit with it, but it's very fine. Like it's, you know, thicker than one strand, but not as thick as 2 strands, but it's uneven because of the way the sparkles are. And like that could be interesting to work with, if I can figure it out. And the last purchase that got to me, for Fine Frog Stitching, her Court of Crows is coming up, so I did one of the pre-sale bundles. So I've got my first ever Witch's Garden Crafts in Caw. The previous 2 I've dyed my own because I couldn't really justify doing the shipping from for like the shipping, but this was like already included and there's some extra, so I was like, okay, I will justify this to myself. So I'm really excited because this is a very beautiful color, and like I got stickers and a keychain, which I'm probably gonna put on the project bag that I go for it, and a very strong needle minder. Very strong. Let me, yeah. maybe have done the package just for that guy. So I'm very excited for that. That starts next week. I'm not going to keep up, but you know, I like to support my friends when I do. All right, I have some more purchases, but they all kind of tie to other stuff, so I'm going to move on to that. So I did 2 new starts because I'm doing 2 swaps already. Okay. So I'm doing an owl themed swap. We started on Super Bowl Sunday. It's a superb owl swap. And so this is my piece so far. And I'm taking the owl, like little wizard owl from Neil Lott Designs Enchanted Forest Stitch Along. And I haven't quite decided how I'm going to finish it, but like that's already one color done. And it's good because it's just meant to be like a small swap. So I dyed the fabric myself. So tearing through that, I have to figure out how to finish it, but that's going on. And then I'm doing Canada swaps as well. So this one time the theme is favorite colors. So this is They're a Gem Emerald Moth by Kiro Cabinet Crafts. Yeah, and also a piece of fabric I dyed myself. So my person's favorite color is green. And they don't have a Flosstube, and they have an Instagram, but I couldn't, it's private. So I did some snooping through Facebook and like cross-stitch things so I could kind of, you know, get a sense. And they posted a haul picture of Tiny Modernist and some bugs. So I was like, okay, perfect. I have a Canadian designer with a green bug. That's gonna work. But I did some snooping because I was like, okay, because like I wanted to be like something nice. Like it didn't have to be a Canadian designer this time around, but I was like, you know what? I can have that challenge to myself. There's enough Canadian designers. But then I was like, okay, like what's sort of aesthetic? Because I could just do something I liked, but sometimes it's nice to try and be like, okay, but will they appreciate it? Because it's not just like a smalls exchange. I can figure out more about them. So like I said, I did some digging to see what they liked. So that was those. I have a new start. I got the Salentines from Modern Folk Embroidery this year because look at that. It's phoenixes, so it was kind of a weak spot. I did a couple stitches in on Valentine's Day, but like as mentioned, I am very, very ill, so can even see that start. There we go. Like I said, I had work that day, and that was like the first day. Like I had my Wednesday, yeah. So I was just getting better, so I was like, yeah, no, just a couple stitches, so I could say I started on Valentine's Day. I'm not planning on keeping up with the 240 stitches a day because I can't. But I just wanted to get started, you know, commemorative. And look, these are the flosses that came with it, which are really pretty. Yes. I've got my little helper. Yeah. And I'm keeping that in this Phoenix bag I got from Kaylee of Kaylee 10 Stitches because I had plans for this year. I had plans, I was disciplined, I was ready, and then I got personally targeted by a pattern release. So there's a bit of a story to it, so that's what, and the Phoenix bag is relevant still. So my partner is from Hong Kong, he's Cantonese, and so our kids are also Cantonese, and I would like to, you know, we like to try and celebrate their culture and such, and you know, so a lot of it's like festivals and foods, right? So obviously the Lunar New Year was a big one, but the thing is, it's very one-sided what I do. Like, I stitch Christmas stuff, I stitch spring stuff, I stitch Halloween stuff that is not for you, right? So I stitch all these things, but I haven't really found any like Cantonese, Chinese culture ones I want to stitch for celebrations. Some of it's just because like I don't, like I've done trying to search like in like the social media sites for like Hong Kong, Japan and such, but that's hard when you don't speak the language or read the language. And there's like some good ones by like other designers, but I was being like a little bit picky. Like I do want to stitch them because there's some beautiful, beautiful ones, but I kind of wanted my, you know, the first piece to do to be a little bit more representative because, you know, it's for my partner and kids. And then I saw these teasers for the year, okay, you are a pain in the butt, for the Year of the Needle. And it was stunning, it blew my breath away, and I was obsessed instantly. This Palms and Not Stitchery, I'll link it below. So she did it, and like this blue and white to kind of look like, you know, like the china that you get at the restaurants and such. And I love that. And then I was like, perfect, like I'm going to do this, it's going to be great. And I started to think about how to do it. So it's a big piece. So this is a 36 count fat quarter from Kaylee. It's called Gold Streak. So you can see there's like little bits of gold shimmer on it. Like just, yeah, it's subtle. It's like one of my favorites that she does. So I got that for it because, you know, to pop them, to make the colors pop. Because originally I was like, okay, I'm going to do these in traditional colors, red and gold. Because red and gold are the traditional lucky colors. And I was like, yeah, this is great. This is going to be perfect. And then I pulled it up, I think it's like 30,000 stitches, and I was like, oh my god, right? And then I bought, like when you bought her powder, she had like 4 other different colorways, and I was like, oh, that looks good too, that looks good too, right? And like, I was obsessed with this. I was talking about this nonstop to everybody and like running it through. So I said first I was going to do red and gold sparkles, and I was like, oh, I want to make things pop more. And then I did more research, and it turns out all the animals of the zodiac, there's lucky colors. And I was a little confused by it because, like, you know, because there's 12 zodiac animals and they have lucky colors, but sometimes the lucky colors are red and gold, but I'm like, those are just the generic lucky colors. So it's like, is that, you know, is that your lucky color? Like, is that your lucky color, or that's just a lucky color? But then sometimes the colors are black or white, which are unlucky to wear during events. And but the thing is too, that's trying to make sense of many different, you know, years and like centuries and decades, you know, and different cultures and things. So, and like trying to make something uniform from where it cannot be made uniform. But I went through it. So I picked the, you know, the 12 animals, and I went and did the research, and I picked out their common lucky colors. And then I went through, because like there's overlap, right? Because like they'll have 3 lucky colors each. So then I went through and I picked lucky colors, so it would be like an even distribution on my thing. And then I was like, well, I'm still gonna make it sparkly. So I got the Etoile kit from Michaels. Really annoying. Michaels in Calgary, at least, they don't sell the full range of Etoile. Like there's 35 colors in here, I think. And they only sell like 20 in store, and the only way to get some of them from Michaels at least is the kit. So I was like, okay, fine. I was going to wait for a 40% off coupon, and they ended up doing a 50% off coupon, so I was able to score this for more than for less than I expected. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I don't have like huge plans on like working on it. Like, I don't have like a cycle, oh, I'm going to do like 100, you know, I'm going to work on it when I work on it. Because I've been sick twice this year, so all my plans, I'm already really far behind. But I did get some other bags from Kaylee, which is like my last one. Got a nice Lord of the Rings one, gonna move my modern folk embroideries into. And I got this one, which is going to be for my Year of the Nature walks stitch alongs, which I haven't started because my stuff got stuck in the mail. And then, like I said, I've been sick, and it's just, you know, I've been sick, so that is what it is. But I haven't fully decided on everything yet. And this is stuck. That's delightful. Yeah. There we go. But so far, I've got some fabrics to pick through for the from Brennan Nettle, because I got some of the paper patterns from Brennan Nettle. So I'm just working through that. And my first one is I'm going to do the Petrichor Nature Walk on fabric that is appropriately called Mozzie Day, which is like a rainy day. Yeah, it's a little lighter than the called for, but I think it'll be fun. Because I'm challenging myself with that one too, to just try and get close without maybe always going for the called for, just because she uses a lot of Stitch Me, which isn't always accessible to me. And then, of course, I don't know, have you seen Sprouting Lupine's A Year of the Nature Walks stitch along in Just Cross Stitch magazine? Because I saw that and I was like, oh shit, like I just need something that huge. But it's beautiful and gorgeous, and I would probably stitch almost everything that a cat puts out. Hey. So yeah, that is my quick little update. I feel like, for cross stitch at least, I feel like I had more to talk about, but brain done. For books, I've been reading a lot of books because I've been sick, so if you want to stick around and hear about books, please, let's talk about that. So one of the big things I did is I switched over to Storygraph at the end of January because you know, the world being what it is, I want to divest myself away from certain entities, so like Amazon and such, as much as I can. So I have a Storygraph account, Shinna Crafter, and I've been working my way through it. I haven't sat down and imported all my Goodreads data into it yet. Apparently it's an easy process. I just have not. It's okay. I've got the cat hair up my nose now. It's great. But yeah, so I've been going through that and just trying to finish off the books and such. And I went through, like when I was not feeling well, I went through a bit of a hockey romance kick. I'm not even going to list them all because I was just plugging away at them. And then I found out about this Beverly Jenkins. So she's a Black author who writes Black Western historical romance. And so I've been reading those. I'm almost done all the, no wait. I'm almost done all the ones that are accessible to me through the library. I think there's like one I'm not going to be able to read. But yeah, it's really interesting. So like I know about the Black cowboy experience in like this area of the world, and like which also kind of extends into Montana a little bit because like the borders were like looser then. But this is more like the Black cowboy experience in like a California area, right? And so that's been interesting to me because like I know stuff about because most of them are set about a generation, 2 generations after the Confederation. So like I know this history in broad strokes. I don't know like hyper specific. This region did this. This you know, this state did that sort of deal. And they are very like they're spicy, but they're well researched. So it's always interesting to me to hear about like the things that inspired it, like and like where she did her research from. So that's been interesting. Cause like you know, reading about those and then being like, oh, that's what was going on in like Florida and Cuba in like 1870, 1880. Like, okay, cool. You know, I only know a little bit. So it's been interesting to read that through the lens of a historical romance. So I've been reading those. I've been reading The Secret Garden, tore through a lot of hockey romance, and yeah, just like I said, been reading a lot. Been reading T Kingfishers. I want to go with like K or something because of like the K after it. The Hollow Places is an audiobook. I find her work to be just so spooky and like atmospheric and chilling. So I've been listening to that one as an audiobook. I'm like halfway through. I'm having to take breaks. I get like really spooked out and it's like, I can't read this anymore. Like, I know some people think that she's not thriller or not scary, but I'm like, no, to me, she's right there. I am scared. So I've been working my way through that. The Beverly Jenkins, the hockey. God, there was one more book I wanted to mention, and I'm just having a mind blank, but that's okay. It's follow me on Storygraph if you want. I'm trying to make new friends and you know, be more committed to my reading goals. So yeah, that is everything that's been new with me, and hopefully I will be back sooner and in better health, and I'll have more to show. And thanks for everyone for coming by and checking me out. Okay, bye. Hey, say bye. You've been a pest. Come say bye. Okay. Thanks, everyone.